Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the channel. As usual, I've got my hostess with the mostess here, Andy.
Hello.
I hope everybody's had a nice weekend. We'll do a couple of card readings because I don't think we've actually got many who wants them at the moment. And then after that, we'll just do a general chit chat like we normally do. Normally ends up going downhill rapidly, but that's the fun of it.
Very rapid.
So I'll do the card readings for those who've asked, and then, like I say, we'll get on to a general paranormal chit chat if you want. Hi, Karen. Um, who's first on the list, Andy?
Stephen.
Right, we'll start off with Stephen. Just give him a good shuffle. I'm hoping the dogs are going to be quiet tonight because Coco's lying down fast asleep, and I have Kaya is as well. I've been having a bit of problems with Kaya the last few days, Andy.
All right.
I keep sneaking upstairs and trying to lie on the bed, and I knows full well she ain't supposed to be up there. Right, I'm just finishing this cigarette off while I shuffle. It's alright, me and Andy were talking and I lost track of time. We nearly missed the countdown.
We did.
Right, Stephen, we'll start with yours first. Okay. Right, Stephen, past, present, future, final outcome. Um, your past is an interesting one. You've got the Four of Cups. What I'm getting off that card at the moment is there's been some kind of I don't like to say the word truce, but I think there's been some kind of agreement reached with somebody recently in your past. Because it's the cups, it resonates on the emotional side of life. And I always see the hand coming out of the cloud with the cup as almost like a peace offering. Not always necessarily a peace offering, but for me, it always seems like a meeting of somebody on the emotional level. It could be family or friends, don't know, but there's definitely in the recent past there's been some kind of understanding reached on an emotional level, and I believe it's between you and so. I presume it's a person, but it could be a situation, Stephen. It could be that there's been some kind of emotional decision made that's actually given you peace of mind in the recent past. But I'm getting more the fact that it's definitely, there's definitely been some kind of emotional settlement recently concerning a certain issue. It's not on a general emotional level. It's been a specific emotional subject for you. Hi, Selena. Welcome to the chat. Um, I do believe that it's probably been an ongoing thing, and I believe it's something that's probably been playing on your mind a lot in the past. But definitely a meeting of the ways and some kind of an emotional settlement has recently gone on, almost to the point that there's been some kind of olive branch offered to you to keep the peace. That is the kind of thing I'm getting off the card. It's quite an interesting spread, this one, because of what it leads on to. Um, Leading into your present, I'm getting the hangman. Now, the hangman is a suspension and going nowhere. So I'm getting the impression, Stephen, that at the moment, linking back to this card, even though there's a peace been reached or there's been some kind of emotional decision finally been agreed upon, I get the impression that you're not and are not going to be totally happy with it, Stephen. There's something concerning this situation that even though this balance has been achieved, it's not a balance you're particularly happy with. Um, it almost feels a little bit like it's been done more out of necessity. Right, okay. It's coming across at the moment. It's been more out of necessity rather than out of a genuine desire to reach this emotional settlement. because the hangman does signify suspension, stagnation, nothing moving, nothing progressing. And I'm getting the impression that, and because it's a major arcana card as well, it is important. So it's saying things that are happening currently in the present are going to be of an important aspect in this phase of your life. It's this particular period that's going to be the most important to you, because it's the only major arcana in the list is falling in your present. But there's definitely this kind of suspension and feeling a little bit of, I wouldn't say entrapment, Stephen, but you're not only settled with the situation. Um, like I say, the agreement as such, or the balance, came in the past, recent past, but even into the future now, you're not 100% settled and happy with it. There is some kind of I'd almost say resentment, Stephen, is what I'm getting off the card. There does feel like there's, and I don't mean resentment as in, really nasty negative, but more of a whimsical thing off you. It's definitely not fully settled in your mind, is what I'm saying. Right. Now, moving into your present, this is where things get interesting, because you've got the Knight of Swords. Now, what that's telling me is there is going to be movement in this situation, Stephen, because knights, for me, particularly the fact they're riding the horses, always signify a movement or a change. And because it's the sword, it's on the intellectual level. So to me, it's saying that the solution to your problem lies with you, and you're gonna take this forward from what you're going through at the moment, but it's going to be solved on the intellectual side of things. It's going to be ideas rather than emotions that are going to get you out of this current phase where you're feeling a little bit of going nowhere. There's definitely new ideas on the horizon, and they're definitely your own ideas. It's not something from an outside influence. It's definitely an internalized thing rather than external. Um, it's going to be the start of something new, definitely a new phase in your life. But it's all going to spring from the intellectual side of things rather than the emotional. Um, Maybe what you're learning off the two previous cards is going to show you that to carry on at the moment, don't carry on your life on the emotional level. It's saying let the head rule the heart in this case. Because, as with life, a lot of times decisions are always of the head or of the heart, and it's definitely saying in the near future you're going to you're going to develop a mindset to get you out of the current situation where you feel like you're going nowhere, because there is definitely a lot of stagnation surrounding you at the moment, and it's self-perceived stagnation, Stephen. I don't mean that your life's going nowhere, but I think you're of the mindset that it's not going where you want it to go, and this is what this suspension is leading. But it's all on the emotional. But moving into the present, there's going to be a switch into the intellectual, where that is the way forward for you to get yourself out of this current situation and the way you're currently feeling. It's a very positive card, the Knight, and especially the Knight of Swords, because it's movement on the intellectual level. I always like the Knight of Swords. I always say it is a very, very positive card. Now, what is interesting, leading into the final outcome, you've got the King of Cups. Now, this um, is a really good card to have at the end of this reading, because it all ties back to the emotional, which is what your reading started with. Now, the King of Cups is the ultimate of the emotion cards. It is the highest rank of the emotions side of the tarot. And what it's saying is this movement that you've got coming up is ultimately going to lead you to not only a peace of mind in the head, but also a settlement on the emotional level. You are gonna come full circle and come back to a point where you're happy in yourself, both emotionally and intellectually. Um, the king also signifies a settling down of relationships. So I think any situations that are going on within the family at the moment, Stephen, are definitely gonna end on a positive note for you. It's gonna be to your satisfaction rather than anybody else's, and I think this is what this entire reading is coming across as at the moment. It's saying that you've got to work from your own level. You've got to think of yourself in the upcoming months. This is definitely an internalized reading rather than an externalized one. Everything is every one of these cards is relating directly to you, rather than people on your social circles and your family circles. It's definitely all concerning you. So it does finish off on a really positive note, Stephen, with the King of Cups. It's probably one of the best cards you can have as a final outcome in the minor arcana, because it's the ultimate in emotional settlement, and a settlement not only of inner peace emotionally, but also it does externalise in the fact that family and friendships are going to settle down. And I do believe that this reading is, although it's linked to you directly, I think the problems are concerning the wider family circle, but they are going to settle down, and things are going to end up to your satisfaction, Stephen. It's just it's just saying you've got to think this one through for yourself. There's definitely no relying on outer influences for this. The solution to what's going on at the moment is definitely going to be an internalised thing, but there's definitely an overall general settling of things at the end, because, like I say, you've got the King of Cups, which is a nice positive card. Your last two, your future and your final outcome, are both very, very positive cards, which is really good. The first card again is Hi Mystery. The first one again is a positive card. The only one which I would consider slightly negative is the one that's sitting in your present position at the moment, which is the Hangman, which shows suspension and stagnation and feeling in a rut. But you're definitely coming out of it, Stephen, and it's not going to last too long, whatever the situation is. It's just a little bit of an unsettlement on the emotional level at the moment, but the cards overall are saying things are going to work out to your satisfaction. So I hope that helped. There you go. I was getting a lot off that reading.
Yeah.
Some of them you do, and some of them you don't. Some of them, you look at the cards and you think, I ain't seen much here, but that one came across quite nice. Who's next, Andy?
Next up is M.
M. Okay.
Yeah.
Mods with trigger fingers. Why? What's the matter?
I think they're on about somebody
Oh
else's
right, I was going to say I
stream. Yeah.
don't see anybody blocked.
I'm not 100% certain if M's somebody I know.
Oh right.
I think it's somebody off my friends list who I know personally.
Okay.
If it is, hey up M, hello. Just stay in chat if it's you. Because I advertise stream on my profile, like.
Ooh. Another interesting one. Right, past, present, future, final outcome. Your past is the Page of Wands. What I'm getting off this card at the moment is recently there's been some kind of movement on the physical level, and I always think that the wands to me they're what I call the health suit. They're more concerned with people's personal health. I get the feeling there may have been a little bit of illness recently in the past that has improved. I'm not saying you're in bad health, but there's been some kind of health issue there. There's been a change in your health generally, and I think I've been on a positive note, to be honest with you. I don't think it's negative because it's the page, and the page, like the knight, to me always signals the start of a movement, whereas the knight itself is the movement full blown. The page is the starting of the movement. So to me, that's saying that there's been some kind of shift in health recently in the past, but it's been more of a positive thing. So maybe you've had a slight illness in the past, or somebody somebody close to you, their health has been a little bit of a worry to you, but things have improved and settled on that score. Also, I'm getting new horizons off this card. I don't know why. Really strange. I don't know whether you've considered getting yourself fitter, or you've recently started a bit of an elf regime, but I'm definitely getting the start of new horizons off this card, and this is the recent past. So I don't know exactly whether that's concerning your health or not, but there's definitely been the starting of something new, and it was literally recent. It's in its baby steps phase at the moment. There's some change there in your past that's currently going on. But the fact that it's wands, I do think it's on the physical side of life rather than the intellectual, emotional or material. It is definitely more to do, it's more concerned with the physical. So very interesting card. Right, now moving into your present, we've got the, sorry, excuse me, the Eight of Wands. Again, another physical card. Now the 8 is reinforcing this improvement in health. Now what is really strange here, I can't narrow it down to whether it's you or somebody else. Now normally when I get these kind of impressions where it ain't, I can't pin down whether it's you or somebody else. It does tend to be somebody else. So this health thing is moving into your present. So I don't know where, because it's 8, it's moving up the deck. So it's an improvement in health rather than, a degradation in health. So it's definitely positive health, but health and the material and the physical side of life at the moment is very important. There's something very important surrounding health at the moment for you, or if it's not you, it's somebody in the immediate family. It's not friend, it's definitely someone within the immediate family, is what I'm getting. But these two cards are definitely reinforcing the physical. So it's definitely to do with health, but because the 8 is moving up, it's definitely on a positive note. It's not to do with bad health, it's to do with an improvement of health, or somebody feeling better within themselves than they expected to. And for some reason it's very important in your current future, and I don't know why. I really do not know why, because moving into your future card, you've got the Knight of Pentacles, which always shows a shift in the material. So we've suddenly shifted from the physical into the material. So, right, okay, there's definitely some in the near future. There's some kind of movement financially. There's some kind of financial change here. Again, it's the Knight, and the Knight to me, they're always positive cards depending on what they're surrounded by. But the final outcome is the one that's making me hold back a bit, because you've got Temperance. Now, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to link these two cards together because I get the impression these two are linked in some way. So what I'm saying is, in your near future, there is going to be some kind of shift on a financial level, on a materialistic level. I shouldn't really say financial. I should say materialistic more so than financial, because it's not necessarily money. It could be property, goods. It's anything. Okay, Andy. As far as I know, as far as I'm getting, it's not always money, but it's definitely materialistic. Now it's linked with Temperance, and what it's saying is, because they're linked together, Temperance signifies finding an inner balance, not going to extremes. And this card is coming. I think the final outcome is what I call a warning card or an advisory card. And what it's saying is, be very careful with this shift in your material circumstances, because although it's positive, you could overdo what you're doing in relation to it. So if it does concern money and an increase in money or an increase in spending, it's saying you've got to rein yourself in a little bit and not get too excited, because there's a chance here you could stretch the finances, so to speak. So it's not negative in any way. It's just coming in as an advisory. But what it's saying in your final outcome is self-control is very important, and you're finding this inner balance now that is going to come up in regards to the material. There's definitely some kind of improvement coming in, and I'd say it's within the next 3 months, 12 weeks or so, that there's going to be this shift in the financial to or the material that's going to be favourable for you. But it's saying don't let it go to your head. You've got to keep that balance. Temperance is ultimately about self-control. It's definitely about self, and I'm exactly the same. I'll get a bit of money, and straight away I'm trying to think, what can I spend it on?
Same,
You
yeah.
know, and this is what it's warning. It's saying, don't go over the top with this financial shift, because it's going to be a good thing for you, but you could let it go to your head a little bit if you don't exercise this self-control. And I'll be honest with you, I'm as guilty of it as anybody else. First bit of money I get, I've got, I'm thinking, what can I spend it on? And this is exactly what this is saying. So it's all positive. This definitely. It started with a shift in health. It's carried on with a cheers, Mark. It's carried on with a continuation in an improvement of health, because it's the Eight of Staves. It's then going on to say that there's a shift in finances that's linking back to this health. So I don't know whether it's going to be because health's improving. You've got more chance to. I don't know whether you get a new job or a change in job or whatever. But it's definitely showing a definite improvement on the material level, and I think it is financially linked. But your final outcome is saying, make sure you balance all these positives with a bit of self-control. Don't let all the improvements go to your head. Just treat everything with balance, and you're going to be okay. But overall, again, another positive reading. Nothing negative there whatsoever. So I hope that helped you. There you
Very,
go, Andy.
very cool. Right, next up list we've got Tracy.
Tracy B. I was wondering if Little Snails was going to be on tonight.
Yeah, it might turn up in a bit. There's a few slots left, so
Can't eat money when trees have all fallen and rivers are poisoned. That's very true, Chris. That is very, very true. You're welcome, Em. You're more than welcome. But like I say, that was definitely a positive reading. And it just showed improvements all the way through. Definitely improvements all the way through. Right, who's next, Andy?
Tracy.
Tracy. Ooh. Okay. Oh. This is an interesting one, Tracy. Right, your reading starts and finishes with cards of the major arcana. So basically, what I'm getting off this straight away is what's happened in the past is going to be very important concerning your final outcome of what's going on. Hi, Sue. Um, those are the two areas that are the most important, because they have fallen with major arcana cards. Your first one, which is your past, is the Fool. Now, that doesn't mean you've been an idiot in the past. What it's saying is recently you've embarked on a new phase of life, because I don't know how many of you know, but the Fool is considered the first card of the tarot. It is basically card zero. As you can see, it's a bloke staring up in the air, gleefully skipping along, but if you notice, he's about to step off the edge of a precipice. And there's a little dog barking at his heels, warning him about what he's about to do. What this card signifies is the start of a new journey or a leap into the unknown, and this is recent past for you, Tracy. So what it's saying is you have literally embarked on a new phase of life very, very recently. You've started on a new path in an area of your life. Um, Again, I think it will probably be material because of the next card to it. I don't understand money, plastic, paper, or metal. So this recent journey that you've started, Tracy, is going to be very important because it's shown up as a major arcana in your recent past. Now, moving into your future, you've got the Ace of Pentacles, one of my favourite cards of the deck, because it shows a beginning, a beginning of a new journey in the material side of life. So I think these two cards are linking together, and I think this new pathway you're taking at the moment is going to start paying dividends now in the present, because the Ace of Pentacles shows again it's new beginnings, and again it's a pentacle, which is the material. So it's saying there's new beginnings on a materialistic level. Could be money, could be property. It's basically possession wise. So it's saying there's a new start for you on the material. And I do genuinely believe that it links back to the Fool. It's not saying you've been a fool with money. It's positive. They're both positive cards. But the changes you've just undergone are now coming to reflect in your present now. You're going to start reaping the benefits. There's going to be a change in the material for you. It's a really odd one because I'm not necessarily getting money off this card. I'm just getting materialistic, Tracy. So it could be possession, something like that. You could be on the verge of getting something new of a material thing. It could be a new telly, a new house, a new car, but I don't think it's necessarily more money or the start of more money, but it's definitely an improvement on the materialistic level and the start of something new for you on the materialistic level. And this is happening now. This is your present. Right. Moving into your future. This is a really interesting one, Tracy, because this one is a very funny card for me. The Seven of Cups. If you look, there is actually a shadowy figure down in the left-hand corner. Now, to me, this card always symbolises somebody plucking at the heartstrings, and not always necessarily for the good, or of for your benefit. So there is something coming up in your near future that links back to this change, where somebody is going to try and manipulate you on an emotional level concerning it. Now, I don't know whether it's a negative manipulation or a positive manipulation, but somebody, I'll be honest, I'm swaying more to the side of somebody is going to try and do it for their own benefit rather than yours. But it's definitely, there's something coming up where somebody's going to be plucking at your heartstrings and playing an emotional game with you over these new beginnings. So just be warned. I think this again is an advisory card. Don't panic about it because you've got the Empress as the final outcome, so the outcome's good anyway. But I think this is coming to warn you that in the near future there is going to be somebody, and I get the impression, again, it's either immediate family or very close social circle. It's not the outer social circle. It's someone who's very close to you at the moment, either a family member or a very close friend. But they are going to try and take advantage of you on an emotional level, and this card is coming as a warning, just to let you know that this is going to be coming. So just be wary of it. I don't think it's going to be anything majorly negative, but they are doing it. This card is saying they are doing it for their own benefit rather than yours, and I think they will pitch it to you that they're doing something that is for you, when actually it's for them, and it's definitely on the emotional level. They're definitely going to be plucking at the heartstrings, Tracy, to get the goal they want to get. So this card is definitely coming as a warning. Right, now, because your final outcome is the Empress, I can tell you you're going to have a positive outcome from it, because the Empress it's the girl power card, amongst other things. So what that is saying is, whatever goes on in the future regarding this person, you've got the brains to see it happening. It's a self-reliant card of the feminine. This card is all things feminine, and for me it always signifies a strong-minded woman. And what it's telling me is whatever happens, you're going to see through it. You're going to have the sense to know what's going on. Again, there's nothing negative in this reading as such, Tracy. It's just that that future card is just warning you of this little bit of manipulation that's going to go on. And like I say, I don't think it's a majorly negative thing, but the person is doing it more for their benefit than yours, and it's just an advisory. But your final outcome, the Empress, is saying that, you know, you're going to have the common sense to see through the subterfuge sort of thing and find your own clear path through it, because you're going to come out benefiting from it, you know, because the Empress signifies a successful, powerful woman. It also signifies marriage, pregnancy and birth, but I don't know whether it's actually relating to you on that level at the moment, because I'm not getting that strong sense of pregnancy or marriage off the card. It could signify it, but I'm not getting that at the moment. I think it is linking back to that Seven of Cups, just saying that don't worry about this situation that is going to be upcoming, because it's nothing serious, and you're going to get, you know, you're going to have the sense to see through it, and it's not going to be a problem for you. There's no major upsets coming, definitely no major upsets, but just definitely be aware of that future, and it is coming quite soon, Tracy. It's not, you know, far in the future. It's something that's going to come up quite soon, but just be aware of people, you know. I hate to say the word emotional blackmail, but that's basically what it is, but on a very mild level. You know, it's emotional manipulation for their benefit rather than yours. But the outcome eventually is good anyway, because you've got the Empress, so it is definitely nothing to worry about. Again, another positive reading, and I hope that helped. Oh, so far so good, Andy.
Yeah, it is. Next up, we've got Selena.
Okay, Coke. Oh, nice. Two royals, two major arcana. Right, Selena. I can tell you overall on this reading, the most important aspects are going to be in the future, and your final outcome, because they're your two major arcana cards that have popped up there. One the Sun and one Strength. Both of them are actually. Hi, Philip. Both of them are actually positive major arcana cards. So again, this is going to be another overall generally good reading. Right, now, it does start off, I'll be honest with you, Selena, on a bit of a strange note, because it's the Queen of Cups, but what I'm getting off this card at the moment is she actually looks a little bit melancholy. So I'm getting recently there's been a little bit of heartbreak surrounding you or surrounding your family. I ain't sure which one, but it's definitely affected you directly. There's been some kind of a bit of an emotional. Oh, cheers, Sue. Definitely, there's been some kind of emotional downer that's recently gone on, that directly relates to you. I can't pin it down fully, but you know, it's definitely there's emotional. You can call me Queen Bee, baby. I'll rule. There's definitely a bit of emotional negativity here, in, you know, very much melancholy, very much. I wouldn't say depression, but there's just this little hint of sadness I'm getting off this card, and it relates to you because the Queen always relates to a female. So I get the impression it's you. There's been a little bit of sadness in your life recently, Selena, and I don't know what it's linking to. What is really interesting is coming into your presence, you've got the King of Wands. Now, these two, I believe, are linked together, and I think there's been some kind of emotional support coming off a guy. Um, Somebody who's a very down-to-earth guy, because the King of Wands always signifies somebody of an earthy nature. The Wands are the element of earth, so it's a very down-to-earth and grounded person. And this links into this melancholy, but I think this person, right? Okay, Selena. But this person who's coming into the present now is somebody around you now is going to be a lot of help to you, and it's somebody who they're not a thinker, they're not an emotional person. They're a very down to earth and matter of fact person. I suppose at times they could appear quite cold, but they are going to be a big help to you because the earth sign, they are grounded people and they do tend to see things exactly as they are. They're not fiery like the fire sign, or the air sign tends to be flighty. The earth people are very grounded, and sometimes this thing, the way they penetrate straight to the heart of things, can sometimes make them appear a little bit cold. But this gentleman, and again, I'm getting the impression it's somebody very close to you. I don't think it's friend Selena. I do believe it's family. It's somebody in the family circle. It's somebody that you can rely on in now. They're a key to helping you snap out of this melancholy. Okay, say it how it is. Yeah, basically that is exactly what the King of Wands is. You know that they are very grounded and very down to earth, and they don't pull the punch. This person will not pull their punches when it comes to giving you advice, and they will tell you stuff you may not want to hear, but he's good for you. It's that type of person. It's a very grounded, common sense person. That they won't sugarcoat anything. If they've got something to say that'll be negative but is good for you, they will say it. And this is that person who is surrounding you at the moment, and it's very important that you listen to this person, because leading into your future, you've got the sun. Now, what's drawing me on that card straight away is that little naked kid riding on the horse with his arms flung out. Now, to me, that always signifies breaking out into the sunshine. It's very joyous, this card. It's also a sign of contentment and growth. So there's going to be, oh, shut up, you two. There's going to be some kind of growth leading from this person. Again, movement, because the horse is in there, but there's definitely a very contented element to what's coming up in your future. Hang on a minute. Coco, shut up. It's the next door neighbour. Thank you. There's definitely going to be a vast improvement coming up for you, Selena, because you've got the sun, and barring the earth and the star, all the astrological signs on the tarot are all massively positive cards, particularly the sun, because it's contentment, regrowth and success. Most definitely. The earth tends to signify a completion of a cycle. The star tends to be hopes and wishes and positive, but the sun is always a sign of contentment, regrowth and an improvement of a situation. But this improvement is definitely linking back to this person who is around you at the moment, this very down to earth person. So whatever they tell you, you may not want to hear it, but it's what you need to hear to carry you on into the future, to get to this point that the sun's showing. Most definitely. But it's saying don't despair, because there are definitely sunny times ahead for you, because it's a gradual movement from this melancholy into the sunshine. It is that literal, this reading. And your final out, Scooby-Doo is on one. And your final outcome is literally referring to you as as having the strength to carry it through. But definitely there's definitely, and I would say it's within the next 6 months, Selena, there's definitely going to be a vast improvement in this situation that has been signified in your past. Again, this is the first of the major arcana cards. I'm fine, thank you, Julie. Hope you're okay. Julie's one of our Australian subs. I like Julie. If anybody likes to watch early on a morning, when most UK channels are off. I do highly recommend you go and watch Unearthly Wanderings, because they're Australian. They tend to do a lot of streams early, around about 9, 10 o'clock for us. So ideal morning viewing for you if you want to watch something. But yes, Selena, definitely the sunny times coming up for you. Definitely within the next 6 months. Um, your final outcome again is an advisory. It's just saying, just keep that inner strength going, because that's what's going to carry you through to these sunny times. To me, that is signifying your inner strength and your ability to plod on. And that is what it's saying. You've just got to keep plodding on, Selena, because at the moment it may seem that, you're pushing against a brick wall. But what it's saying is your inner strength is what is going to carry you through to these sunny times. And believe me, these good times are definitely coming, Selena. Definitely. And it's really nice that you've got 2 major arcana cards at the end of the reading, because they reinforce one another, and major arcana cards are always important in a reading, because there's only 22 of them in the deck, of 78 cards. They are considered extremely important. No matter where a major arcana shows, that signifies very important areas of your life, and yours have dropped in your future and your final outcome, which will reinforce in the future more so than what's gone on. So it's saying you've started off on a bit of a downer. Keep plodding onwards. Lean on this person. Definitely lean on this and it's a guy. It's definitely a guy, Selena. You're a very down to earth person. They are going to help you push through to sunnier times. But it's saying overall, the one to carry you through is going to be your own self-reliance. Okay? But just stick with it, Selena, because there's better times ahead. And it's just saying, just rely on that inner strength, because, the sun is going to shine again. Believe me. Hope that helped.
Very good.
Who's next up there?
Next up, we've got Sue.
Sue. Oh, I could murder a coffee. See, Jace always runs off when I'm about to start streams, because I'm sure he thinks I'm going to ask him to do coffee. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Right, so... again, this is a strange one. So, you've got 3 sword cards here right now. The swords represent the intellectual side of life. Okay, and the first one is not the best of the swords, and well, actually, neither is the third one, the future one. But you've got the king sitting in between them, right? These I think, Sue, are not a past, present, future thing. I think these are all linked. These. No. It's not majorly bad, but these are all linked together. These 4 cards are all signifying one particular issue rather than a past, present, future thing. Right now, that 10 of swords you can see there, to me. Okay, no problem, Julie. To me, that always signifies the death of ideas. So, and the one that's in the 3rd position is trapping yourself within ideas. But they are both surrounding the King of Swords, which is a very, very positive intellectual card. So, there's a lot of conflict here on a mental level, so really, really strange reading this one, and particularly with what it ends on, which is the Hierophant, which is the keeper. He is the imparter of knowledge, but hi Sam. He's also the keeper of, like the high priestess, they are the keeper of what you would consider the supernatural knowledge and the spiritual knowledge of things. So I'm getting a spiritual conflict here, Sue, right the way through this reading. And oddly enough, even though the king normally signifies a man, for some reason in this reading, Andy, I've just got that really straight.
I can hear it.
Can you hear it?
Yeah,
Are you turning your vibrator on again, Andy?
I must be. Stop letting me secrets out.
This one is really strange too, because I do genuinely think that that king is you, and you are surrounded on all sides. It is almost the best way for me to describe it to you, Sue. What I'm getting off it, intuition is saying to me. Are you still there, Andy?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, you went really quiet then.
all right.
It is almost like an intellectual tornado is spinning round you at the moment, Sue. There's a lot of thoughts and ideas and overthinking going on at the moment, and it is all. I don't. But the thing is, Sue, I don't know whether it's positive or negative, because even though they are two rather negative sides either side of you, Sue, the king is a very, very positive intellectual card. It is somebody who is so sure of themselves on a mental level, it is untrue. And I really do believe that this is you. And I honestly believe what I'm starting to get now is bad advice, bad advice, bad advice. The Hierophant is signifying bad advice that is surrounding you at the moment. There is definitely this. There's massive movement around you on the intellectual level, Sue, but it's saying you are standing strong in the middle of it. This is what's really odd. There is you're definitely in the middle of an intellectual storm, a mental storm, ideas and beliefs. Everything is up in the air at the moment for you, Sue. But the Hierophant is also signifying peace on a spiritual level. So I don't know. I can see there's going to be a massive upheaval in your belief system. So something is going to happen that is going to drastically change your way of thinking on various areas of your life, but particularly on the spiritual level. There is something coming. It's going to be like a landslide change, literally. And I don't think it's negative, Sue. This is the main thing, because the Hierophant is rarely negative. Um, but I'm getting the spiritual side of the Hierophant off him. Because in some of the cards, in some decks, he's actually um, right. Okay. That is what it is. Because in some decks, the Hierophant is actually called the Pope, and he signifies the thing. But you're literally in the middle of a tempest at the moment. You are stuck in the middle of this whirlwind. But you're like you're like a mental castle, in literally like a mental castle in the middle of it. You cannot be budged at the moment, but there's a lot of change swirling around you in your beliefs and on a mental level. So it's honestly, it's absolutely amazing the power that's going around you on an intellectual level at the moment, and you are literally like king of the castle in the middle of it. It's definitely an epiphany. There is most definitely an epiphany coming for you, and it is going to change all your beliefs, both on an everyday level, but particularly so on the spiritual level. This is why I don't think these cards are past, present, and future. They are all linked together, one after the other. And your Hierophant, which again is a major arcana, is pointing to what all this intellectual change and belief change is about. And it's definitely about the belief systems and your spirituality. There's definitely a lot of changes coming there. Again, this is a reading of self-reliance, because I believe you're going to get. There's going to have to be a death of ideas, Sue, and that is what your first. That is what your first card's signifying. It's a total death of what you currently believe. The other side of it is that you're worrying that you're going to trap yourself in your own thinking. But I do genuinely believe, even though it's a king and you're a woman, obviously, because you're called Sue, I do believe that that king represents you. And it can happen where a king represents a female. But normally, when a king represents a female, it's normally somebody who is so strong in that area of life Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You're literally in the middle of, like I say, you're literally in the middle of a whirlwind at the moment, most definitely. But you are so, at the moment, you are so. It's almost like your thoughts are shot like an arrow. You know, your thoughts are arrow fired. They're in one straight line, and there's no budging off the course. But this is going to change, Sue. This is definitely going to change. What it's saying is you've got to leave the mindset you're in at the moment. You've got to take the chance and jump into the storm, because this storm is going to carry you to a better place, both spiritually and intellectually. Most definitely. Again, it's not a negative reading, but it is definitely an advisory one, saying that now is the time to take. Now is the time you've got to make the jump, because I think you're holding back a little at the moment. You've hunkered down in what you want and believe, and it's not necessarily what's good for you, because I think you're trapping yourself within your own head, is the best way to say it. You're fixated so much on what you believe that it's time. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, so. That is exactly what it is. You, you're getting too strong and too set in your ways of thinking, and this storm intellectually is raging around you at the moment, and it's time for you to come out the castle and jump into the storm, because it's going to carry you to a much better place. But you've got to do it. You've got to let these ideas die, and you've got to overcome this fear that you're going to trap yourself mentally. I think you're really frightened. I think what's holding you back at the moment is you're really worried about getting yourself into a mental rut, and that is what the king think. That is why the king is right next to the mental entrapment card, because I think, you're clinging to that like a lifeline. I dared and let go. I dared and let go because things are going to get worse when actually they're going to get better. Yeah, don't hold on to what feels safe. You've got to take your life in your hands and jump into the whirlwind. So, because it is definitely going to come out on a very positive note, but it is definitely going to be a death of everything you believe in at the moment, and it is literally going to be a total rebirth on the intellectual side of things, and it's definitely going to be a change on a spiritual level. Everything you believe spiritually now is going to change because of it, and you're going to become a better person of it. So I hope that helps, Sue. But it's definitely saying take the chance. Don't cling to old beliefs. It's time to let go and move on. Definitely time to let go and move on an intellectual level. I think this is, Sue, I think you're going to have to lose the faith you currently have, because there's a new faith coming for you. And I don't necessarily mean that whatever your religious beliefs are going to change, but I believe that whatever your spiritual framework is going to change completely. But maybe not. You may not change your religion, but the way your beliefs exist within your belief system are going to change. But it's definitely a positive. It's definitely a positive thing. So yeah, most people are scared to change. So most people are, but this one is going to be a change for the better for you. So I hope that helps you, Sue. I really do. Who's next, Andy?
Next up, we've got Terry.
Terry L. How many we got tonight?
Two more after Terry.
Who we got after Terry?
We've got Unearthly Wanderings
Yeah.
and me.
Oh, right, okay. Well, we'll finish on you then.
Okay.
So Terry next. Ooh. Right, Terry. God, this is a right mixed bag. Um, Interestingly, you've got a major arcana that's fallen in the past, which is justice. Um, There's something very, very important happened with you very recently on a judgmental level. And I don't mean somebody's been judgmental towards you, but there's been a very important situation, and I think it's been a decision that's been made concerning the material side of your life because you've got the Page of Pentacles sitting next to it. There has been some kind of decision made there recently in the past that concerns your material side of life. And I do think it's money. I don't think it's possession. It's Terry's being red bewitched. But there has definitely been a very definite decision made recently concerning changes in finances. Okay, Terry? Because linking on from justice into your present is the Page of Pentacles. Now the page is like birthing of new things. It's the start of a new journey. You go from page into knight into queen into king on the journey through this particular, whichever element of the tarot it is. And this is the pentacles, which, like I say, is the material side of things. But I specifically get with this that because he's looking very longingly at that pentacle, and it signifies a coin. So this decision that you've made recently is concerning money. Now, I'll say the decision you've made, Terry, I ain't 100% convinced it's a decision you've made. I get the impression it may be somebody else has made a decision which has changed, which has set you off on a different financial path. Because this is what's coming into the present. So I ain't 100% certain that justice card is specifically related to you or somebody else. But there has definitely been a decision made that is now affecting you, that has started you on a different level in the material side of things. And I do get the impression it's finances, Terry. Definitely finances. There's definitely a beginning there. It's a start. I don't know whether it's the start of being poorer or the start of being richer, but there's definitely a change there. It's the beginning of a new phase in the material side of your life, and it has come as a result of this decision that has been made in the past. I ain't like years ago. I'm talking recent past. Okay, right now into the future, Terry. Oh, I don't know whether to say this or not. I'll say it, Terry. There's going to be a bit of resentment on your part, okay? Because the Five of Cups there, I always get the you can see that some of them are tipped over and some of them are standing up, and he's looking at the ones that are tipped over, and it's almost like they're looking at a loss on an emotional level. So to me, that signifies there's a bit of resentment. And this resentment concerning what's been going on is going to carry on into the future for a short while. But I don't think it's anything majorly negative. There's just going to be that little bit of resentment there regarding these decisions that have been made. Because I get the impression you feel maybe you haven't had full control over what's gone on concerning it all, and there's this little bit of resentment that's just sitting there festering in the future. Not majorly anything, because you've got the Two of Cups as your final outcome, which is really nice, another nice positive card. But I just get the impression that it's saying, don't let feelings of what's gone on dictate what goes on in the future for you, Terry. Because if you let resentment build, it can get a lot worse than what it needs to be. But there's definitely going to be this little bit of resentment concerning these last two cards. The situation in these last two cards is going to lead to a little bit of resentment in the future on your part. But it's something you can get over. Right now, Interestingly enough, Terry, your final outcome is the Two of Cups. Now, the Two of Cups is really interesting because for me, it is a partnership of the emotions. And what it's saying, oh, hang on, where's my phone? Hi there, shut up, I know it's 10:30. Sorry, my phone alarm went off. What it's saying, over eventually, Terry, you're going to reconcile what's been going on regarding this situation because emotionally the two people are being drawn back together. The Two of Cups um, always represents like an emotional partnership. Definitely an emotional partnership. So what it's saying is, even though you've got this resentment, the situation is eventually going to resolve itself. But it's going to take a little bit of effort. Whatever's been going on with these last three cards is going to make you, and I get the impression it's another person, either partner or family member or very close friend. It's going to bring you back together, tighter than ever. But there has got to be a little bit of give and take in this situation, because that's what your final outcome is saying. Through give and take, you know, the two emotional sides are being drawn back together. The partnership reforms tighter than ever. So it's saying don't let this resentment run away with you, because there's going to be an emotional meeting of minds. Well, a meeting of emotions rather than a meeting of minds, and it's going to make you tighter. It's going to make you tighter than ever with somebody. I don't know whether it's necessarily the person that has made the decision in the first place, but this overall situation is going to pull you closer emotionally with somebody you currently know, and it's either family or friend. Somebody you do definitely know at the moment, but there's definitely going to be this bringing together of the emotions from these two people. It's going to be like declaring a truce kind of thing, but it's going to make the pair of you, you're going to have a better relationship at the end of it. I ain't saying you're going to run off into the sunset and get married, but you're definitely going to understand each other a lot more on an emotional level, and it's going to bring you closer together because of that understanding. But that's definitely what it's saying. But that's all I'm getting off them at the moment, Teddy, but that's a really interesting reading. A really interesting one. Okay? So I hope that helped you out. Right, who's next then? Julie.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coke. I can't believe I've been doing this for nearly 2 hours.
I know, it's flown.
Give him a good shuffle. You're welcome, Terry. You're more than welcome. I really ought to get a cloth for this table so you don't have to stare at my cables. I have got my cloth card somewhere. I'm going to have to find it out. Actually, I might get one with a goat's head on it and frighten everybody.
Oh dear.
Ooh, Julie. Oh, I always love it when the devil comes out. You're welcome, Terry. You're more than welcome. Right, Julie. Definitely a mixed bag here. Right. Past, present, future, final outcome. Your past is the devil. I'll see how I'm feeling when I get to the end of the other two readings, Lauren, because I'd actually close the list. But if I ain't feeling, if I feel okay, I'll try and fit you in at the end. I'll do you a quick 3-card reading on a discussion on a what's it. Right, Julie, the devil. Your past is showing that there has been some kind where there's been some situation gone on in your past, and I get the impression I ain't saying it's distant past, Julie, but it's not recent past, it's a little bit further back, but there was some kind of entrapment and I use the word bondage, and I don't mean it sexually, but
Woohoo!
there, there's been something in your past that has, where you definitely felt really, really trapped. Um, somebody was somebody was keeping you in metaphorical chains, so to speak. You know that I believe, I'm getting the impression it's somebody who used, shall I say, mental abilities to control. It was definitely somebody who kept you in line, is about the best way, is how they saw it. They kept you in line mentally. Nasty, very, very nasty piece of work, Julie, if you don't mind me saying. That kind of person, very much a mental manipulator. Very much a mental manipulator. Um, and they played a very vital role in your past. Very much played a vital role in your past. And it's something that you've carried up until the present day, is what I'm getting. But that, this person wasn't good for you, Julie. And I get the impression they're out of your life now because you've got the Four of Pentacles after, which is an improvement in the material. So you've got away from it, but they have played their part up until present day, and it's only now that you're starting to break free of the damage they did. If you can understand that, Julie. I don't want to go too much into it, the sort of things I'm getting off this card, but they were very damaging for you personally, on all levels, shall we say. Right, moving into your present, you've got the Four of Pentacles. Now, what I'll get off that card, Julie, is currently at the moment, you need to be very careful about balancing finances, um, and juggling your finances. Money's not tight, but what this card is saying is at the moment, you need to be careful about what you spend money on and what you don't spend money on. It's just coming as an advisory to say, be very careful with things on a financial level, because he's standing on the money, he's holding the money, and he's balancing the money on his head. That card for me always signifies financial balancing acts. So it's saying just be very careful on a financial level at the moment, Julie, because you're going to be doing a bit of a. I ain't saying you're going to be short of money, but you've just got to be careful with money. There's definitely got to be some kind of financial balancing going on at the moment, because I know some people have, find money really tight all the while. Some people have got plenty of money and don't have to worry, and then you've got other people, which I think is the situation you're currently in, where you're sitting, you're not well off, you're not poor, but you've got this balancing act going on, and it's saying just maintain that balancing act with your finances, because that's going to be very important in your present. Finances are very important for you at the moment. The influences that are swirling around you are all to do with financial balance and balancing the books. Right. Moving on into the future, you've got the King of Pentacles again. Another good one, because it's showing that because of this financial balancing, Julie, finances are definitely going to improve drastically in the future. Could even possibly indicate a windfall or some kind of inheritance, but that is definitely coming up in the future. And again, I think it's more yearly future rather than monthly future. So I would say this is going to be within the next 12 months rather than within the next couple of months. But there's definitely going to be an upturn in finances and maybe even an unexpected windfall. So what it's saying at the moment, those two cards, your present and your future, are linked, and they're both financial cards, saying maintain what you're doing at the moment financially, because ultimately things are going to improve on a drastic scale, even to the point that maybe far exceed what you were expecting them to be. So finances are definitely looking good. Definitely looking good, Julie, but it is going to be over a 12-month period. It's not going to be, the next month or so. It's definitely going to be improvements over um, the next 12 months. Your final outcome is the Five of Wands, which now goes back to the physical. Um, to me, this shows a balancing of health. So it's a final outcome is saying everything on the physical side of things are going to balance out, Julie. So it's saying that you don't need to worry about health or kids or anything like that. What your main concerns at the moment are that you need to keep your eye on is the financial side of things, because the physical side of things are balanced and they are going to remain balanced. That card to me always indicates some kind of celebration as well. So there is going to be some kind of celebration coming up for you in the near future. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely something on the material side of things. Not the material, on the physical side of things. It's a celebration of the physical, which I know sounds really odd, but sometimes it, to me, 9 times out of 10, it either signifies you're going to hear of a pregnancy, you're going to hear of a birth, or there's a birth imminent in the family that is going to, go fine. But there's definitely going to be something concerning the physical that is going to be of a celebratory nature for you. So I don't know whether you're going to have another kid, Julie, or you're going to hear of somebody within the family who's going to be having something to do with it. It's celebration of children is what I'm getting off this card. It may not even be a pregnancy. It could be a celebration concerning a child who is currently here, who is already here. But there's definitely something coming up that is going to be a celebration surrounding a child. And I get the impression it's going to be a boy rather than a girl. So it's definitely a male child. So you're either going to hear of a pregnancy or a birth in the family that's going to be a little boy, or there's going to be a celebration around a boy in the who is currently in the family. But it's going to be it's going to be it's going to be a major celebration, Julie. There's definitely some kind of celebration surrounding a male child. It's not a female child. It is definitely a male child. So it could be some kind of achievement that this child reaches, but it's going to be very much a source of celebration for you, something you're going to be very proud of. But because it showed it shows just how significant it actually is. But that's about all I'm getting off them at the moment, Julie. But what it said, it did start off on a bit of negativity with the devil, and this thing, But I think this reading has shown how far you have actually come, and I think that's why the devil showed itself in the past, because it's reminding you where you were and how far you've come to where you are now, and it's saying into the future things are just going to get better. It is it's what this reading is saying is you have been on a proper life journey, and you've gone from a very bad past, and I don't think it was a bad past concerning your family like your mom and dad, brothers, sisters, that kind of thing. It was a family. It was definitely of a family level, but not from immediate family. It was like, if you don't mind me saying, I'm getting it like husband, boyfriend type thing, that kind of family relation, Julie. Not mom, dad, brother, sister type thing. I'm getting it more of husband, partner type thing was what I was getting. But it's reminding you, it's just showing you how far you've come from there to where you are now. And the reading is saying, just appreciate what you've got, because you've done well to get where you are, but stick with it, because there's even better things to come. Right, okay. There you go then. So, I hope that helped then. Okay. Right, Andy, we'll do you now.
Cool.
Right, Julie. Yeah, I got the impression it weren't like mom, dad, brother, sister. It was husband, partnery type thing. But very much. I got the impression it was very much. Well, I ain't saying it weren't a physical type of control, but there was definitely a lot of mental control there. It was somebody who took a lot of pleasure in almost in mental torture type of thing. That was what I was getting off the card. Right, Andy.
Mhm.
Ooh, Temperance, King of Pentacles. Oh, I'll get my black suit.
You might as well. I knew that was coming. Uh,
Oh, ooh. Now I'm getting somewhere off this card, Andy, that I ain't actually aware of. And by the way, I know Andy well, so this past card is really odd, Andy, because I'm getting the impression off this card that you have recently been really, really pissed off with somebody. And I
mhm.
mean majorly pissed. And I know it could be a number of people, but
Oh,
I'm
you don't say.
I'm getting the impression now this has been a major issue for you.
Mm,
There's definitely some kind of major issue here going on that this involved a lot of self control on your part.
yeah.
Self controllers, and this is recent, Andy. I'm talking probably last 3 months,
Uh-huh.
and I get the impression you've kept it quiet, that you ain't even mentioned it to me.
Okay.
I'm getting that. That's the impression I'm getting. I'm getting that this has been an annoyance that you've pretty much got. I don't even know if you've told Becky. There's an annoyance here that you have very, very, very much kept to yourself.
Yeah.
Almost to the point you've wanted to lose control, sort of thing. Blow your stack. Is that I'm getting really interesting things off this card, Andy. Really interesting things. Um, and I think again, it's connected to. Oh, hang on, let me just shut that bloody notification off because it keeps getting on my nerves, keep ringing. Um, Again, it's referring to the material side of things because it's the pentacles, but you've got the knight. So, I think I know what it is.
Okay.
I think I know what's been getting to you. I won't say too much, but it's concerning what you're waiting for regarding your mother, and it's that situation that's pissing you off.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting, because I'm getting it's something that it's movement on a material level,
Mhm.
and that's just popped into my head. I don't mean you're pissed off with your mother.
No, no, no.
I mean
Yeah.
you're pissed off with the situation
A situation. Yeah.
surrounding it, concerning what's going on with your mum and stuff, and and I don't think you're just pissed off about how it's affected you. I think it's been pissing you off as she's been messed around.
Mhm.
I think that's been playing on your mind. Right, going on to your present, onto your future. This is really interesting because I know you've been ill recently, but your
Mhm.
future is showing a definite improvement in your health, Andy.
Good.
Because again, you've got the Eight of Wands, which to me is an improvement in the physical, in the body sort of thing.
Yeah. That come out for him earlier as well,
Yeah,
didn't it?
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
in your future. There's definitely um, an improvement here, and I don't know if it's going to be if it's going to be linked to they're going to get your medication and stuff sorted out, or at least better.
I
But there
think it's something I'm personally trying as well.
possibly
Yeah.
whatever it is, there is definitely going to be a marked improvement in your health, Andy.
Cool.
Definitely that because the eight always signifies to me an ongoing improvement in health. The Eight of
Yeah.
Staves always does, because as you see that you can see like the leaves starting to sprout on the actual what's it's, and it's all
Mhm.
this rebirth and growth and change in the physical. So definitely in the future, there's definitely going to be this, and it's ain't just going to be a slight increase. There's going to be a marked improvement health-wise. Now your
Right.
final outcome is a really interesting card because I
Mm.
always call this the money grows on trees card.
Yeah.
But I'm getting that it's not just money. Your final
Right.
outcome, I think there's going to be a fruition of things on multiple levels here. I think this is signifying it's in all areas of your life. So
Okay.
it's physical, material, mental, and intellectual.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of rebirth and growth surrounding you in your final outcome. But you know, there's definitely an improvement in financial matters there. But I believe it's an improvement in everything. It's not
Mm.
just the financial side of things because he's leaning on the wand, which has popped out at me, and the skies. For some reason, the sky behind him. I've just thought that you know, the sky's grabbing me as well, which signifies the air side of things.
Yeah.
Um, so there's definitely although there's going to be there's going to be a lot of growth on the financial side of things. I do believe it's also concerning the physical and the intellectual as well. Um, there's also going to be a change of thinking along the way here. Uh, there's going to be a slight altering of your beliefs. There's not going to be
Okay.
a change in your beliefs, but something's coming up that is going to slightly skew them in a slightly different direction.
Yeah.
I think something's going to be passed on to you that is. I think you've probably it's information you've currently got. You may have possibly slightly not grasped the full implications of.
Mhm.
So you've gone in one direction,
Mhm.
and there's something going to be imparted to you which is going to slightly move, only slightly,
Yeah.
but it's gonna put you closer to where you want to be on your belief system.
Cool.
But there's definitely a little bit of a change of cut, not a major one, but you're gonna hear of something that is just gonna nudge you slightly off course and nudge you onto the right course, should I say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you know the thing's there, but at the moment you're just slightly skew if because you haven't got all the information you need.
Mhm.
But you're about to hear about it, and it's just going to slightly nudge you onto course. But not a bad reading. But the one that's jumping out at me is that future card with the eight of wands.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one that's the most important. But them first two, I think, are relating to the situation surrounding your mother. But I don't think it's just pissing you off because it's affecting you. I think it's been pissing you, and I don't even know if you've admitted it to yourself how much it's been getting to you.
A little bit.
But I think it's been annoying you how unfair it's been on your mother as well,
Mhm.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, cope.
All
But
right. Cheers. Thank
not
you.
a bad reading.
Yeah.
There's a couple of improvements coming there, Andy, and a couple of slight little changes.
It's about time.
Uh, they're underneath the table, John. It's just because I've got me until all this stuff's finished in here. I can't fully wire in my CCTV, so they're all my CCTV cables. Because that it's actually going out the way the CCTV receiver, so it can't be seen. Who was that last person who wanted an advicey thing? Can you remember who it was?
I'll just quickly go and check. Uh,
I don't do these very often, the advicey ones. You know, because I don't think it's really up to me to.
Lauren.
Is Lauren still here? We might have to wait about 15, 20 seconds because it's normally about that far
Yeah.
behind, isn't it?
Yeah.
YouTube need to learn how to process video faster. Yeah, go on. What was your question, Lauren? Ask your question. I'll do you a quick reading for you. And this Lauren is most definitely the last one. So now Lauren wanted something specifically answered. Gotta wait for it to type it. Can you just put in the chat, Andy? Just ask her to
Uh,
type a question in.
yeah.
I never live stream on Facebook. I avoid Facebook if possible.
Oh, so she says
Anything
just
anything
some
on an house move
guidance.
soon. Right, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I ain't getting anything regarding moves off that. Um, this is really interesting, Lauren, because what I'm getting off these cards again is emotional things, and linked to an house move. They're really strange. See, your final card, which is the Three of Hearts, I always signify it as it's the heart not getting what it wanted. So because your first card is the swords, I would say that the house. I think I would say the move is going to happen, but it's not going to happen as soon as you want it to. There is going to be a bit of an extended period here where it's almost like you're lying in wait on the card. Um, and I'm getting the impression, Lauren, that this decision to move is not going to be of your choice. You're going to, because of the lovers. I'm getting if you look at the angel above the couple, uh, I'm getting the impression that angel is quite. He's like standing in judgment. So I would say, at the moment, um, don't push the issue with whoever is ultimately making the decision regarding the move, because I think if you do, you're in for heartbreak. I think what this reading is saying is there's going to have to be a little bit of patience involved here. I would say the move is going to happen because there's no negative cards here. There's definitely no negative cards here, so it's not going to be a negative outcome. But I do believe the move is not going to be quite as fast as you'd probably possibly like it to be. And what it's saying is there are outside factors that are totally out of your control in terms of this move. And if you try and push things too quickly, you will end up making more problems for yourself and delaying it even longer. So what this reading is basically saying is it's going to have to literally be an exercise in patience. Just keep your mind on what's going on. Keep your finger on the pulse concerning the move, but don't try and force the issue with the people who are directly involved with the move, be it the council, landlord, or whatever. Because if you do, that is going to have a negative impact on the time it takes for you to move. I do believe that the move's coming, Lauren, but I don't think it's going to be as quickly as you want it to be. It's probably going to be a couple of months longer than what you were expecting. Um, yeah, I know, Lauren. Um, the lovers signifies a partnership, and it's sitting in the middle. So what it's saying is, there is a chance that I don't know if they do it where you're living, but there is a chance. There is a chance of a mutual exchange here, because the lovers signify a partnership sort of thing, or two separate parties coming together. So you're definitely going to get an exchange at some point, but there is going to be a little bit longer of a wait regarding it. But it's definitely coming. But do not push the issue when you find the place you want. Exercise a little patience, because otherwise you're going to end up disappointed. You're not going to get what you want unless you exercise that bit of patience. So I hope that helped you, Lauren. But there's definitely showing a partnership in the reading, because you got the lovers, And if if you're looking for an house exchange, that would definitely be a positive thing concerning that, because it's positive partnerships, the lovers. So the partnership is definitely there and it's definitely coming. All I will say is just be patient that little bit longer. Don't force the issue, and things will work, and you'll avoid heartbreak in the long run. So hope that helped you. So there you go. Right, folks. So that's the end of the card readings for the night. Hope you enjoyed them. We can just have a general chat now if you want. Is there anything you want to discuss, Andy, while I quickly roll me a cigarette?
Oh, you roll a cig.
I'm dying for a fag.
I don't know. Has anybody got any questions in chat? Any sort of topics you want to discuss?
Yeah, would anybody like to ask Andy anything awkward? Because that's
I'm,
normally
u- I'm
that's
yeah,
normally what happens.
I'm used to it by now, so crack on.
Well,
Although
after this, I
we ain't-
might have. Why might you have screwed up Karma, Bill? Yeah, I could do with a brew, but I ain't gonna run off and leave Andy that long. I'm just gonna roll me a cigarette. I'll have me a brew in a minute.
if Joanne were here, you could have run off because
Yeah,
questions
yeah.
take hours to answer.
Yeah, it's a shame Joanne ain't here, because it would have been a 2 hour response while I went and did a coffee. Uh, it's really interesting, Bewitch, because people seem to think that the cards predict the future, and they do in a way, but they don't. I always say to people, whatever I tell them could be totally wrong. I'm just telling you what comes off the cards for me. I don't believe it's anything psychic, unless you class intuition as psychic. I suppose you could do, but it is all based on intuition. And when I look at cards, for different people, certain things bounce off the cards. I could look at the devil for one person and see one thing, and then look at it straight away for somebody else, and something else jumps out on the card, sort of thing. Obviously, you do really need to learn the general meanings of the cards, because you know, th- especially the major arcana, because they've got titles for a reason. You know, otherwise you might as well just sit there and read 20 pictures off or something. But there is you do have to go with your intuition regarding reading. I've been doing it for like 30 years, on and off. Well, longer than 30 years actually now. I was 14 when I had my first deck, and I was 50 in January. So that's why 35 years in it.
It
I've been
is.
doing. I've been doing it. Well, 36 years. I've been doing it now. But I'm surprised you can't say. Actually, I'm getting to that stage about Alexa putting the kettle on, because I want to get me. There's actually a plug you can get that works with Alexa, where I can tell Alexa to turn the kettle on. I intend to get it. Does what counts as an NDE? Bugger eye died. Yeah, you had an NDE in the haunted days. But did you say you'd had an NDE, Andy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it as weird as mine?
Uh, mine's right. Well, it's hard to describe. It's a bit strange. Mine weren't operating theatre.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember, obviously, the horrible anaesthetic going in and you're being knocked out. I remember all that, because you do it. It's an awful feeling, isn't it? And then kind of my vision, like, coming back together, but being up in corner room,
Yeah.
like floating, but in like a sat position, you know. I remember looking down, not seeing myself, but I remember all like surgeons and nurses like of at top of something, like they were working on somebody.
Yeah.
And then I like kind of looked to my left and wall disappeared and I could see my mum and dad waiting.
Yeah.
Looked back over into the room and wall kind of like manifested back. And then I looked at my hand because even though we're only young, I knew something had happened. And I looked at my hand and my hand were in shape of my hand, but it were like a load of dust particles that were making shape.
Yeah.
But there were no emotion, there were no like attachment. It was like an all-knowing kind of feeling.
Mhm.
Even though I were only like 5 or 6, there
Yeah.
were no limitations to what I knew exactly what was going on. But there were no emotional attachment to what had just happened and my body. It was
Yeah.
really strange. But
So
yeah, it come back in fragments over a few years.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, mine was really weird because one, I didn't even know I was dying, and two, the way it happened. Looking back on it now, it was really odd because I never even considered why I was there. Because
Yeah.
what happened with me, I got spiked with drink and drugs, um, and I literally went from being happy in somebody's house playing pool to waking up the following morning in an hospital bed with a drip in my arm and not knowing anything in between. So I didn't, when I had my NDE, I didn't even know I was in trouble. And
Yeah.
what was funny about it, Andy, was when I actually had it, which was in between those two, that is the only memories I've got it in between is this, that NDA,
Yeah.
was I never even considered why 1 minute I was playing pool and the next I was lying on this bed with that annoying redhead woman.
Mm.
At the time, it never even crossed my mind as, hang on a minute, a second ago I was playing pool. That was what I found really weird about it, looking back on it now.
It's really strange, isn't it?
Yeah. But there was no like tunnel or nothing like that involved.
No, they weren't for me.
1 minute I was playing pool, and the next minute I was on a bed with this really annoying woman. Not the woman weren't on the bed, but but she kept shaking me and telling me I'd got to leave, and then I swore at her. But I was in a the only thing that was typical of my NDE was the bright light. But again, that never crossed my mind at the time
Yeah.
because I was just in. When you see these teleprograms where they go and visit. Kaya, shut up. When they go and visit like God in these television programs and they're just in this infinite white area.
Yeah.
That was exactly like it was. And it was just me on a bed and this woman at the desk, and then she came over and kept shaking me and telling me I'd got to get up and leave. And it was very bright white light, but I could see no walls or nothing like that, just bright light. But that was the only thing that was actually typical of an NDE for me. There
Right.
was no drifting down the tunnels, and there was no loved ones there saying, "Come to meet me." And to be honest with you, knowing how I've lived my life, I'd have been expecting Satan and his house to be sitting there waiting for me, and they weren't there.
Mm.
So it was literally just this woman at the desk telling me I've got to bugger off. But at the time, it never even crossed my mind as to why I was there.
Right.
Not once. Even though it should have done, because my only recollection, before that was I was actually playing pool. And then the next situation, I'm lying on a bed with this woman talking to me, and there was no. It never even crossed my mind at the time. Hang on a minute, I was playing pool. What am I doing here? Sort of thing. That was the weirdest thing of it. But at the time, it never even occurred to me. It was only afterwards, once I'd gone home,
Yeah.
and I thought, why did I never even question why? I'd gone from playing pool to lying on a bed. Really
Oh, dear.
weird. Has anybody else in the chat ever had one? No, Selena, I was actually rushed to hospital in an ambulance and my heart stopped twice, and they had to use the electric paddles on me to bring me back twice. I died twice in the ambulance. Apparently, I was gone for about 5 minutes altogether between the two episodes, a couple of minutes each time. But yeah, I've got no recollection of being bundled into out. I've got no recollection of even passing out or anything. I literally go from playing pool to lying on a bed to waking up in an hospital. Basically, Selena, my friends spiked I was only 15 at the time, 14, 15, and we were drinking what I thought was pints of cherryade pop. And now I can't stand cherryade pop. And what they were doing, they were pouring uh, Southern Comfort into my drinks and dropping basically acid tabs in there as well. And they basically killed me. An artist drew a picture of a garden he saw on the other side whilst having an NDE. A viewer at the artist gallery recognised the garden. She had an NDE and account I read of in it. It's really interesting, Bewitched, because I was just basically in this really white area. You know, I knew I got the sense I was indoors. There was no windows or nothing. There was no walls, no ceiling. It was just white lights all around and just this bed and this woman. I got no sense of, there was the room must have been gigantic, and even though the light was bright, it weren't to the point where I had to squint. So I always say to people, it was like sitting under hundreds of fluorescent tubes, Andy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it was like. It was just like being under hundreds of fluorescent tubes.
When you describe it, it always reminds me of that bit in Matrix, where gun racks come down.
Yeah,
Because that's just like a pure white
that's
area.
exactly what it was like,
Yeah, yeah,
Andy.
yeah.
That is
Yeah.
exactly what it was like. It was just a white area with the bed and the desk and the woman sitting at the desk. And then she got up from the desk. I woke up and I was feeling tired. And I thought, oh, I'm going back to, I never even considered who I was and why I was lying there. This is what is totally weird about it, Andy. I never
Yeah.
questioned anything about the situation while it was going on. I was just tired and wanted to go to sleep, and she kept shaking me and shaking me. And every time I went to drop off, she kept shaking me and going, "You can't go to sleep. You've got to get up and leave." And I did it about 5 times. And at that point, I went, "Will you just cough?" And that was what I said to her. Literally, that was what I said to her. "Will you just cough?" And then the next thing I know, I woke up in the hospital. It weren't scary, Selena. It wasn't scary at all. But if I've swore at somebody in heaven, I can't see me getting in there again.
John's offering to come and tidy up for you.
You can come and tidy him up if you want to. Feel free. But that was the weird thing about it, Andy. I never questioned anything about the situation while it was happening.
Yeah.
And that would have been the logical thing to do. Like, why am I in this bed and who's this woman and where am I? None of that went through my mind at all. The only thing I'd got was this severe annoyance at this woman for keep shaking me. That was the only thing, it was paramount to me. And that was all she kept saying to me was, you can't go to sleep, you've got to get up and leave. And I'm
Just get
like,
up.
no, I'm tired and I'm comfortable on this bed and stop shaking me sort of thing. And then in the end I went, will you just cough? And that was it. And then I woke up in the hospital with drips in my arm.
Lovely. That's the worst bit.
Actually, it weren't, because I'd love to know what it was, because I hadn't even got an hangover. I don't know what they
Really?
pumped. I don't know what they pumped into me, but I hadn't even got an hangover. And this is one of the reasons I don't drink, because I'll get 2 day hangovers if I get drunk. That's why I don't like being drunk. That's why I don't drink. But I hadn't even got so much as an hangover. But it was really weird. While it was going on, not once did I question, why I was on this bed and where I was and who this red-headed annoying woman was.
Yeah.
But she was dressed. She weren't dressed like a nurse. She was dressed in a in a white. It was a white uniform, but it was more like a business suit than a nurse's outfit. And then when I came round, none of them in the hospital were wearing white anyway. The nurses, they were all in like pinky coloured outfits.
Right.
Because I thought, did I wake up in the night and it was a nurse? But why would a nurse be telling me to get out of the bed and leave? That
Oh,
that
yeah.
that was the odd thing about it.
Huh.
I wasn't well in my dream. Dark figure came to me. I pushed it away. Then I woke up for real and seen the back of it go through the room. Well, I'd have shit myself, Selena, if that had happened to me. I'd have crapped myself over that. I really would have crapped myself over that. Have you ever had anything like that happen, Andy? Where you've been dreaming someone, woke up and it's been going on?
No, not really.
Because I've heard quite a few people say, that they've dreamt that somebody's been in the room with them, and
Yeah.
they've woke up and then they have been in the room with them. But it's one thing I've thankfully never experienced. Yeah, I actually won. Where do I cash these points in? You can actually cash them in on the Streamlabs page. You can get like little stickers you can whack on the screen and stuff, I think. But you had yours when you were a young child, didn't you, Andy?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I had a very bad experience whenever I was having my tonsils taken out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and apparently they didn't give me enough anaesthetic that time, and I woke up halfway through
Oh,
bloody operation.
Jesus.
Just as I've lifted them out, on forceps
Mm.
above my head. That what point I woke up, and I was like, "Oh my!" And obviously they just eat you with another basher anaesthetic, like. But I was like, "I can't win with this stuff," because I'm saying if I go to the dentist, for a tooth pulling,
Yeah.
they've got to give me vials and vials and vials on it because it just don't work right good. Yeah,
You're just one of them people who are
I'm just,
resistant to anaesthetic.
yeah,
Oh, Jesus. That's got to be the ultimate nightmare, because that's another thing that's been reported a lot in it. People waking up during an operation and not being able to move or anything, but
yeah,
feeling them doing things. Oh God, that's the ultimate nightmare for somebody. That is. I know a lot of people when they've had NDEs in hospitals, they've actually reported things that have been verified later. I know there was one famous case where a guy had one and he floated out the hospital window, went along the wall and round the corner and noticed a shoe on a ledge. A trainer apparently on the ledge outside the window, and it was
yeah.
2 or 3 floors up. And when they brought him round, he told them about he told them about this experience, and they don't believe him. And he insisted that the doctor go and look on this ledge. And when the doctor went, there was a shoe on the ledge. So it does make you wonder.
Yeah,
But go on.
apparently bloody surgeons were doing experiments, weren't they, on quiet, where they'd be putting like certain
Things on
weird
top of yeah,
items on
yeah,
top of cabinets and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's been conducted in a number of hospitals where
yeah,
people
yeah.
have reported NDEs, and people have actually reported seeing things on the top of cupboards and stuff. Selena says my 21-year-old daughter informed me she is donating her full body to medical science.
Oh dear.
My
No.
sister used to be a medical secretary, and she went to that. The British Medical.
Yeah,
They've got like a museumy type thing in London, and it's things like people sliced in half, and like mounted. Like that artist who does it with cows.
yeah.
Well, the British Medical Association has got one of them in London. But it's and my sister went. They took my sister to visit it, and she says, even though it's a bit gory, it was quite fascinating.
It's not for me.
No, nor me. Sam says she's heard about the case with the shoe. Yeah, it's quite a famous NDE case, that one, Sam. But he actually insisted that the doctor went and looked for the shoe, and they actually found it. And the trainer was exactly, they don't just find a trainer. They found the trainer exactly as he described the trainer looked. He described the colour and everything on it. I don't know. See, my youngest, I know my youngest brother is my mum donated his body to medical science. So
Right.
I presume he's in a lab somewhere. Because he was only young when he died.
Yeah.
My mum wanted it, I didn't sign it. Sorry, but couldn't. See, I've put on my driving license. They can have whatever they want off me when I've gone. The only thing I didn't tick oddly was eyes. I just, I weren't comfortable with them gouging my eyes out. Not that it'd bother me when I was dead. But I've just got this thing about eyeballs. So, I ticked everything but eyeballs.
Right.
And I suppose if they eventually develop science where they can stick somebody's eyeball in and they can see again, I'd tick it. But it's more of a cosmetic thing for now, isn't it? Sticking somebody's eyeball in somebody else's eye
Yeah.
because they can't
It,
actually. I've just lost my 50 points that I won earlier. Hang on a bit, Bewitched. can't type now. Well, that's nothing new. Shit, I'm getting a 0 points now.
I were actually, I was thinking about something earlier, and it might seem a little bit morbid,
Yeah, go on.
but I think, and it's weird this because it ties into me reading a little bit.
Mhm.
But do you know, like, considering what happened to Peter and Will and how it weren't sort of fully done properly when he were alive, and
Mhm.
and there's been a bit of weirdness with it. I was thinking about obviously what we're talking about with Sam overnight and spirit boxes, and I think someone us that's willing should do a written statement somewhere to participate that as closest to us in communities that research, if
Yeah.
anything is to happen to us, that we would attempt it on each other.
Mhm.
Because like obviously I've had a scare lately, and if I'd have dropped, I'd have hoped one on you would
Mhm.
have had a go at it. So I want some sort of like noted clause that like such as you or Sam
Mhm.
would be able to perform frequent boxes and try and get me through
Yeah.
in
See,
whatever shape.
I've always said this. I'd like to agree with somebody, a phrase word, some kind of phrase.
Yeah, yeah, like a keyword thing.
Yeah, that
Yeah, because I think it'd be a good idea to carry like for person, especially as we all know each other and what have you.
Mhm.
To carry this research on with folk that we know,
Yeah.
as well as unknown factors.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think it
what I'm going to
really.
do, I'm going to think of a key phrase and I'm going to give it to you and Sam.
Hmm.
I'm going to give you separate ones so that you don't know each other's, and then
Yeah,
see if I can get through to either of you.
yeah.
Right, Salma, in relation to somebody contacting you, and this is only my personal belief, I don't believe that you can force someone to contact you. I believe that someone will only contact you if they genuinely believe that you would benefit from them contacting you. I don't know what everybody else's opinion on that is, but I don't think people come back willy nilly just for a chat. For me personally, I think they, you know, if you're desperate for a loved one to talk to you, they will only come and talk to you um, if they feel the need that you'd receive some kind of benefit from it. Couldn't it find you, Chris? Hang on, let me try again. So yeah, we'll have to set that up, Andy. So if one of whoever snuffs it first, the other two
Yeah,
can try
yeah.
and contact.
It was just thinking because you never know what's right corner for anybody, do
No,
you? You know what I mean?
no,
And I thought, well, I think it'd be a shame for anybody that's like willing to participate for it to go amiss with people thinking, oh, is it right thing to do or not? And then I'd be right willing, you know.
yeah, yeah. I would, I would. I've no idea why it can't find you, Chris. You ain't got any strange characters at the front of your name or anything, have you? I'm anticipating contacting Marsh for a specific reason. The thing is, Salma, if they if the cards wouldn't tell me something like that, Salma. The cards honestly wouldn't tell me something like that. But I do believe if whoever it is feels the need to contact you, um, they will contact you. But I don't think it's something you can force, and this is why I'm always very dubious about these people who do like celebrity contacts and stuff like that. I think it's very much a decision on their part as to whether they decide to turn up or not.
Hmm.
Um, I've no idea. What I'll have to, I don't know. I don't know why it won't let you have them, Chris. Yeah, I don't know why it won't let Chris have points.
Strange.
Because I've spelt it. Let me just try Chris. Yeah. If you really want to get in touch with Salma, I would suggest you try and contact a reputable medium or your local spiritualist church. But tarot cards aren't something that would actually answer that question because I do believe personally that they have to make the conscious decision to allow the contact. I really do. They have to want to contact you, and sometimes if they feel it'll be more detrimental than a positive thing on you, I don't think they will contact you, sort of thing. What's your opinion on it, Andy?
Yeah, pretty much same. And I don't know, cause like you know, I don't know. It's a bit awkward, isn't it? Really.
Hmm. Chris Mason, UK hide and seek champion. Yeah, I've absolutely. Can you try and give Chris points, Andy?
Yeah.
His exclamation mark, add points as one word, then Chris's name, and then how many are you going to give him?
Let's have a go. So exclamation mark. What were it then? Sorry.
Add
Add po-
points, A
add.
double T P O N T S.
Is points all one word or is it separated?
No, it's all one word. Add points.
Add points.
Then the space. Then Chris's
Space.
name. Then a
Is it?
space.
It's not at Chris, is it? Or is it
No,
just
it's just
Chris?
it's just the name, Chris Mason.
Chris.
Mason.
Space Mason.
Space,
And
and then how many points? Now, see, Salma, this is what I'm trying to say to you. The cards on don't contact the dead. Um, what you would need to contact the dead would be a spiritualist medium. The cards can in no way contact the dead for you. It's an totally different branch of the paranormal. So I don't know if you're in the UK or where you are, but your best bet would either to be find a reputable medium, and I really would research it. Or if you were in the UK, I would suggest you get in touch with your local spiritualist church, and they should be able to recommend a good medium for you to speak to, and they should attempt to contact your loved one for you. It's not something the tarot cards can do. Sam says, I feel the contact I had with my friend was other things happening around the house, but not spirit box, and believe me, I tried. Andy, can you just chat to everybody a minute while I try something else?
yep, no worries.
Cheers. I'm just going to go quiet for a bit, folks, so I can't see the chat, but
Chris Mason is an enigma.
yeah, I don't know why it won't do it.
Yeah, it won't let me do it either. Really strange. Don't know what's going on with that.
And I'm just going to try another way. Um,
It says it won't. It says it won't let him gamble either. That's really
what?
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see Chris. He's here.
Yeah, I can see him in chat like on that, but yeah. Wonder what's gone wrong with that then.
Hang on a minute. Right, you may need to leave it a minute or so. Try it in a sec, Chris. I've just tried to add you via the website. Try your points now, Chris, and see if they've updated. Oh, it's somebody who's alive. Oh, right. I thought you were trying to. I thought you were trying to contact somebody who's dead. So you want to know if they're going to contact you or not? Right. This is going to be the very last one I'm doing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to attempt it if it's somebody alive. I could, like I said, I couldn't really tell you anything about somebody who's dead. Sorry, that was my mistake.
We are, it is a paranormal channel after all.
Yeah. There you go. Right, Salma. The first card you got is the Ten of Cups. Now, quite interesting because the Ten is quite a positive card when it comes to relationships. Now, what it's saying is there are feelings there. I would say regarding you, right? This is what your first card is. The problem is the second card, which again is the Three of Cups. Now, this is a really odd one because for me, this would say that there is some kind of third party or influence going on there. Chris has got his points now. I've just added them via the website.
All right, cool.
Um, so although there are feelings there, Salma, there is definitely a third party or some kind of influence that is affecting the way this person's feelings are towards you. I don't know whether it's of a romantic nature or what it is, but it is definitely showing there is a third party or an outside influence going on there. I would probably think it would be a third party. There is a bit. To me, that card would say there is some kind of divided loyalty there. What is interesting as well is your final card is the High Priestess. Now, the High Priestess can signify a female or someone who is keeping things secret. So there is definitely some kind of secret there, or there is not the full knowledge regarding the feelings towards you being revealed. So I don't know whether this person has got divided loyalties or if there is a third party involved here, Salma. But there is definitely something going on here that you are not aware of, because the High Priestess signifies a keeper of secrets. But there are definitely some kind of feelings there towards you, because your cards start with the Ten of Cups, which is a very high emotional card. But that middle card does show third party influence, either of a person or a situation. You know, it can also signify, like heartbreak, but there is definitely, right, okay, but something is being kept secret regarding this. There are too many secrets regarding this situation, and for you to move forward with this situation, these secrets have got to be. He'll reach out if you're honest towards him, Salma, is what these cards are saying, because the cards are saying you're keeping something back. The secrets, what's holding this situation back is secrets. So, there's got to be some kind of revealing of this knowledge before this moves on, because otherwise you're at a stalemate. There's going to be no development on this, Salma, until the full information is out there for the two of you to be aware of. So I would say the best thing you can actually do if you want this situation to progress is basically contact him and let him know the full picture, and then it will be up to him, because if you don't, it will go nowhere, as signified by the Three of Cups. So I hope that helps. So there's just got to be a bit of honesty there, and everybody's got. I've no idea from which end it is, but there are definitely all the information is definitely not on the table, because the High Priestess is a keeper of secrets. It's hidden knowledge. So there's some. Oh, Julie, there's definitely some knowledge there that is not being revealed, and everybody's got to lay their cards. Excuse the pun. Um, Everybody has got to lay their cards on the table before this situation can progress. Yeah, well, you may need to press him as to what he's keeping from you, Salma, because there is definitely, because that the three signifies like heartbreak or some kind of interference, be it another person or third party. But there's definitely knowledge here that somebody is not aware of, because the High Priestess is most definitely the keeper of secrets and hidden knowledge. So I think you really need a proper art to art and find out what the full picture is before you take it any further. Okay. That's all I can tell you, Salma, off them three cards. There's definitely some kind of hidden knowledge here that is causing a block at the moment. So until he actually contacts you, I'm afraid you're going to be stuck at a stalemate, because there's knowledge not being imparted to somebody here. Somebody is keeping secrets. So I hope that helps you, but that's the best I can do at the moment with that one. So I hope that helped. Right, the cards are going away now, and they are not coming out again.
Till next week.
Well, yeah, till next week. Oh, get in the box, you bugger. I won that one. If I'd lost that one, I was changing my name to Ghostbait. You're welcome, Salma. But all I will say is, do get in touch with this person, and and get the full picture off them, because if you say you're not keeping secrets, then he is. There's somebody within the situation is not being totally 100% honest about everything. So you need to find out who or what it is. When the weather gets a bit better, Doctor Villain, it's nasty weather. Yeah, we got snow due, Andy.
We haven't.
Yeah,
We right haven't.
we have.
My intention's saying no.
Yeah, my intention's saying no as well. It's forecast for 5 o'clock in the morning, and then apparently we've got it like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, something like that. Could the Three of Cups represent March? I suppose it could if you asked on a monthly basis, but for me, the Three of Cups always indicates either heartbreak or intervention of a third party in what should only be two, if you get my meaning. Everybody's gambling now. Is Maureen on here gambling?
If she's not, there's something wrong.
I was gonna say it won't be like it won't be like Maureen to miss a gambling opportunity. Oh, God, I gotta get up early tomorrow. I got
Yeah.
everything for you. Well, I'm on that bloody job thing for 4 weeks. Well, it's rather nice actually, because they do all all the posters for Asda and HMV and stuff and cups and stuff. So I've had a nice Skyrim cup and a Star Wars cup and a Star Wars poster
All right, cool.
that they've let me have. So they're quite nice. But I've only got to do it for another 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. The job centre told me there was a guaranteed job at the end of it. The first day I got there, he said, there's no jobs here. We're on here temporary. I'm
Right.
like, right, okay. So basically, we've just used as free labour, but I'm enjoying it.
It's something to do for a bit, innit?
Yeah, that's exactly what they've got to do, Selena. All parties involved in that have got to be open and honest because there is some dishonesty going on there. I wonder if Maureen has worn the iced keys out on her keyboard. Probably. No, Bewitched, we wouldn't like some snow. Not at all. I'm not a fan of the snow at all. If it was up to me, snow would be a banned weather format. Most definitely. I've just dropped my roller on the floor and all the tobacco's come out of it. And now for some reason it don't all fit back in. There's less than there should be, but there's none missing. Oh, what's wrong with these people wishing for snow? Bloody last thing I want. So has anybody got any paranormal questions they'd like to ask? I'm sure somebody's got one awkward one they'd like. Just don't mention fairy portals, for God's sake. Is Sam still on? I'm sure Sam's got one. Sam, I ain't watched your video yet. I'm going to have to watch it tomorrow. I haven't had a good... I just read that then, as I hadn't had a good dump for years. I was going to say, try laxatives. Love it when dogs digs his nose in snow and pushes it up in the air.
Have you watched that video of mine? Yeah, that one we did with ETA at RAF.
No, that one ain't come up.
Alright, so it should be the last video on my list.
No, I should have to watch that one. I've had no notifications off yours.
Alright, there's a very interesting orb that appears.
Oh yeah. Of course, I thought you'd done another one. Yeah, I've seen that one.
Alright, cool.
Have you been kidnapping Cara?
Well, makes you wonder, doesn't it? After what we were talking about, and then
Yeah, I
that
know.
turns up. Yeah, yeah.
So, is that the only time you've ever got that there? Because you've been there a few times now, ain't you?
I've been quite a few times, yeah, and I've never caught anything like that.
We don't discuss fairy portals on here, Wild Bill. We had a very heated discussion one night on why you shouldn't desert your kids and jump through a fairy portal. Right, basically what the story was, it was me, Andy and Mags, and Joanne B of all people said, the question was, if a fairy portal appeared in front of you and the end of the world was like about to
Imminent,
happen,
yeah.
imminent, would you jump through the fairy portal and save yourself? Someone's trying to think of a question about John the Baptist. And my argument was, no, I wouldn't jump through because even though I knew my son was going to die, I wouldn't want to jump through the fairy portal and have to live with the fact that my son had died and I'd lived. And Mags was like, oh, screw my family, I'll jump through. And Andy said he'd go through, and I just couldn't get my head round the thinking of deserting your kids.
Well, it's all right for me because I ain't got
Well,
them.
you
So,
got no
yeah.
kids, have you?
Yeah.
So me and Mags had a rather heated discussion on why you shouldn't desert your kids for a fairy portal.
Oh, it was very heated.
It was quite funny, though. So the answer to the question is no, I would not jump through the fairy portal if it meant my son had to die and I had to live with the fact. So, that's why we always joke about fairy portals on the channel. Andy would go through in an heartbeat. See,
Oh, yeah.
I said if ever I had to make a bargain with the Fae, I would do it happily as long as I could stick the proviso in that if they that the payment would be void if Andy would willingly jump through a portal,
Yeah.
because I know that's my get out of jail free card to do a bargain with the Fae.
Because you know I'm going to do
Because
it.
I know you'd do it. Not that you're admitting to, Andy. If not fairy portals, what about those portals with crystals and copper wire and being a loose cannon, lol? I like my portal. There again, I don't claim I speak to Jesus through mine.
Or John the Baptist.
Or John the Baptist. Ain't being funny, but what would Jesus Christ or John the Baptist have to say through a spirit box? Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, this is it.
Because for one thing, they're 2,000 years out of touch. Well, John the Baptist is a bit. Look, now he's about the same time, isn't he? Didn't he pave the way for Jesus?
I think so, yeah.
So these people are 2,000 years dead. I highly doubt that they're in touch with what's going on now. What is your opinion? Do you think Jesus Christ actually existed, Andy?
Oh, I definitely think they were a bloke,
Yeah, I do,
that,
but I think he was, I think he was a gifted psychic.
well, yeah, a bit like a faith healer and,
Hmm.
could do stuff.
Yeah,
Probably, a bit clear, voyant or whatever and
yeah.
audience. And, yeah, he was just basically somebody who they were like, wow, this guy's mystical. And then, as,
I don't believe the blob of walking on water and stuff, but I do
no,
believe
no.
he.
But again, what were he just another one of these that thought, well, I'm getting this following and I'm going to cult it.
Yeah,
You know, it's human race at the end of the day, and that's how the
yeah,
brain works.
yeah. Because you got like the Jim Joneses and stuff of this world. Was he like a Jim Jones without the nasty ending? Well, it was a nasty ending for him,
Yeah.
but yes, I like my amp with pedals, but I refuse to call it a portal. I just call it a portal because that's what everybody else refers to him at. Well, I normally just say spirit box. John the Baptist is coming through different portals trying to find Sam. Oh, I don't tell you the picture I sent Sam on Facebook the other day, did I, Andy?
No.
It was a picture of a cow staring through a window, and I sent it to Sam with the message, "They're looking for you."
Brilliant. I ain't got Sam on Facebook yet. Send me a friend request.
I'll pass the details on, and you'll know
Yeah,
who it is.
cool.
But yeah, I sent her a picture of a cow staring through a window with "They're looking for you." None of you lot are going to heaven anyway, because you're all compulsive gamblers. A bloke I wear a bloke round my neck, lol. What? I don't get that, Selena. A bloke I wear a bloke round my neck, lol. You get two chances, Selena. You either win or lose the amount you gamble. Imagine if the story of Jesus is accurate. Poor Jesus must have been so frustrating for him. See, because if like if some theories are to believe, he actually married Mary Magdalene, didn't he?
Yeah.
And if you think about it, he was actually a Jewish guy at the time when it was all going on, and it would be very rare for a 33-year-old Jewish man not to be married.
Very rare.
Because in them times they were married, pretty much married at 16, weren't they?
Yeah.
I think the spirits made us gamblers. None of you are going to heaven. They don't have gambling in heaven. Maureen straight down the fiery pit. He'll be the bingo caller. Yeah, there is actually a cooldown on the gamble for so long. You can't constantly gamble. It's to slow your points down, I think. And Jesus had a daughter. Yep, Bill. That is one of the what's it? And he was actually older than what the Bible claimed, because when they when they converted over to the Gregorian calendar, apparently they lost 4 years. So he was actually 4 years older than they claimed he was. And that that's historical fact. For because they changed the calendar after and managed to lose 4 years. God knows how. But it would be it'd be interesting. Wondering if you could trace your lineage back and they realised you were related to Jesus.
What would they do? Is it
Jesus,
good?
Andy described him as a bloke. Well, he was a bloke. He weren't a woman. Hi, Alison. You all right? I'm fine, thank you. It's my ex next door neighbour. I can cope with the story of Jesus, but his mum, lol, was Joseph a sucker? Lol, imagine them on Jeremy Kyle. The thing was, in those times, she would have been shunned. She would have been totally shunned for having a child out of wedlock. Oh, get it now, Celine. I thought you was a dominatrix or something. She is John, didn't you know? Yeah, well, I did wonder why she was wearing a bloke round her neck. Kicks open the gates of hell, jumps on Satan's lap and asks, "What's the Wi-Fi password?" Just watched a video on YouTube. Apparently we have an Alaska Triangle now. Um, what's that forest in Romania, Andy, that I can never remember the name of because it never sounds Romanian?
I about you.
Yeah, well, apparently that's considered a triangle as well. From what I can remember, I think there's about 4 or 5 of them dotted around the planet, isn't there? It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
that the
about that.
Bermuda Triangle's the most famous one. Now, Alison, I'll finish the readings for the night. I'll do some more again Sunday. But yeah, I've finished my readings because we started at just after about 9:30. It was we started, wasn't it, Andy?
Yeah, about that.
I should be closing the stream down in about 10 minutes because, like I say, I've got to be up early tomorrow, so I've got to get at least a little bit of sleep.
And I've got a Walker Tesco to
Yeah.
do as usual.
I hope God doesn't impregnate me by immaculate conception. Don't think my other half would believe me. There's no chance he's coming back anyway now because that struggle to fight for his wise men and a virgin nowadays.
Oh dear.
They would though, wouldn't they?
Probably, yeah. Especially in Lancashire. Oh dear.
Yeah, they'd find 3,000 and humpback. Andy, how's your gnome?
Which one? Oh, my new one. Oh, is ace. I've got a right big one from Asda, but it cost me 30 quid.
I know, I saw your message on Facebook the other day. You don't put a picture though.
I know. I know. I'll have to put one on.
Is he a garden gnome or?
Yeah, yeah. It's just, but it's massive. It's like I would say it's 3 foot tall.
Oh Jesus! Was he made out of plastic?
No bloody resin.
Jesus, he must weigh a ton. He must weigh an absolute ton. Yeah, so you could put it down to the fact that Jesus is not going to return in Lancashire. Joseph was really gullible, immaculate conception. Yeah, they've never got into the nitty gritty of what happened regarding that, have they, Andy? You
I
know,
don't think so.
they always gloss over that bit with Mary.
Like it is what it is, and that's it.
Yeah, we're telling you how it happened. You know, but that's how Anakin Skywalker was born as well, wasn't he?
Oh, aye.
So Jesus could have quite easily been ended up as Darth Vader.
But that's it. The contradiction there. If that were to happen in modern day, they'd
Hmm.
automatically, I think, go down. Oh, it was Satan's child.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
one and the same thing. If
yeah.
you, if you believe in that.
Immaculate conception, better than a mistake. I have about 20 gnomes. One is from Gnome Land Security. That Alaska video came from Haunted Road Media, and now the channel owner's name is not Tom. She'll have to watch that. Somebody's called themselves Haunted Road Media. But Master Productions. Could you imagine Jesus and we're going to probably get banned off here for discussing Mary and Jesus. Could you imagine Jesus and Mary on Love Island? Lol.
Oh dear.
There was a pinhole in the rubber. Luke, I am Jesus. No. Duracell. You know, but there's just so many contradictions and inconsistencies in the stories, ain't there?
There isn't.
You know, and wise men just wouldn't jump on their camels and troop hundreds of miles across the desert on a whim, would they? Let's be
No,
honest.
no one.
System, guys, ref shapeshifters. You ever wondered why Boris Johnson cloth don't seem to fit him properly? Well, there is the theory the Illuminati are all shape-shifting lizard systems. So you know, I
Oh,
suppose
that's it. Yeah.
he could be up there with the royal family. Cockmaster Productions, King of the Roads. You know, because if the David Icke theory is correct, so all people in power are part of the shape-shifting lizard society, including Philip and Liz. But I find that really interesting that he actually claims that Philip is senior to the Queen
Yeah. It's
in the hierarchy. And apparently the Queen Mother was like, until she died, she was like ultimate head of it all, the Queen Mother.
right up there.
Yeah, yeah, apparently she was ultimate head of it all. But then, what you've got to ask is, you know, see, there's a bit of a incongruity there because she married into the royal family, didn't she? And
Yeah. Yeah.
she
Yeah.
married George, so surely you'd have thought he'd have been, you know, he'd have been the lizard, and they converted her later.
Yeah. Unless she just worked her ranks.
Might have done. Maybe that, you know, that was how I got to because originally she was supposed to marry Edward, weren't she?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, originally she was supposed to marry the other brother, and then she married him instead.
Right.
I think I'd like Jesus. He sounds like a bit of a laid back hippie. I bet he'd enjoy a spliff. Bedtime for me, Brett, Andy, and chat. Thanks for having me. You're welcome, Selena. You have a good night.
Have a good night.
That is what they claim, Doctor Villain. That they claim that, you know, that Diana was murdered because she knew the secrets, and some people claim this because just before she died, she announced she was going to make some big public announcement, didn't she, on the Monday?
Yeah.
And then she died in the tunnel just before. You know, and one of the conspiracy theories is she was actually going to reveal all this about the Illuminati and what they actually were. Jesus' father was a painter. He made Emp. Oh, was a partier. They are part of the German clan royal. Yeah, they are. They were originally the House of Hanover. I think it was only in the 50s that they renamed themselves to House of Windsor. You have a good night, Selena. What time is it, Andy?
Uh, it's
Right,
about 12ish, I
it is
think.
12
Yeah.
o'clock, guys. So I'm going to close the stream down. Thank you all for joining. It's been a fun night again, and we always have a fun chat at the end. We'll be back on Friday, Andy. Yep,
Yeah.
and we'll actually think of a topic this time. Be a bit more organised. Oh, mind you, we were this Friday, weren't we? It was the one before
Yeah, we
where
did
we were a bit
conspiracy.
rotted. We
Yeah,
did
yeah,
conspiracies, didn't we?
yeah.
But we'll think of a topic. I'll put it up on the channel early so people know what the subject is. But thank you all for coming again. Thank you again, Andy.
No worries.
And I'd like to say bye bye to everybody and hope everybody's had a good weekend. And we'll see you later in the week. So
See you
have a good
later.
night, all.